Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic Podcast. We are having part 2 of a podcast we did a couple of weeks ago. We have been inundated with comments and keep researching and when's your next one? And it's crazy. I'm your host, Julie Nolan, and the executive producer is David Galini, genius. And once again, I have Kristen Nemeth to break down Harry and the Nutmeg.
Hey, the nutmeg. I love that.
Do you like
Julie.
it?
Yeah.
It's not an original.
No, I like that.
But
Yeah.
I worked it in.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, let's.
Okay, so here's how I'm going to approach this.
Okay.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I kind of think I need to break it down into 3 buckets, 3 categories.
Okay. Yeah.
The first category is the royal family, the crown, as a system, as they call it, the firm.
They do call it the firm.
Yes.
I just learned that.
Yeah. So the thing about that, and it doesn't take a genius to find these things out, is it's known to be cold. It is not a warm, loving family. It's not anything any of us can relate to. I'm going to give you an example. So, well, first of all, I want to clear up something from the last podcast because I got confused, which happens. And it could happen again. But I know now what I'm talking about in this particular scenario. How did we get Queen Elizabeth? I got it now.
Okay.
So Queen Elizabeth's father was King George. King George's older brother, King Edward,
Oh, I thought you were going to say Philip. Sorry.
Oh,
no,
I know.
I've got that
right?
one screwed
Yeah,
up. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I'm with you, though.
So Edward says, I'm out of here, and goes to the United States. So that automatically, the crown went down to the younger brother. Then George only had daughters. So he had Elizabeth, and then he had Margaret. So Elizabeth became queen at a very young age because he died at a young age. So I think she was 20 when she became King of England.
Yeah.
Queen of England.
Queen of England.
That's kind of a big deal.
It's amazing.
The other thing that's interesting about their scenario is that it's church-driven. Like, God is in there somewhere. Like, God picked.
Okay.
Like, that's kind of why they do it in such a familial. They don't vote for each other. Do you know what I mean? It's just automatically going to be after Charles William. Right?
Okay, it's a monarchy. So, like, for us, we really don't. We get it here in the States. We understand we're dealing with royal family and monarchy, but we don't get the breakdown of how this actually happens and occurs and why it's attached to religion and all of that piece of it. We don't know that.
That's exactly it. And what is sad is nobody's changing the rules. Maybe they've bent some a little bit, but when you watch The Crown, which clearly I have a gazillion times, not much housework getting done at home. But anyway, so many lives have been ruined, generation after generation.
Yeah.
So when Harry comes out, because that's what we're going to be focusing on him today, more than
Absolutely.
Meghan. When Harry comes out and says the things that he says, he's not wrong. He's not wrong when he says his father was cold, everybody was cold after Princess Diana died, but it's nothing new. So my problem with it is he's saying it now and he's getting paid for it.
And I got to agree with you there, because suddenly he's on the cover of People magazine. I mean, he's front and center of everything. And so, like we said last week, when he was kind of just doing his duties, I guess, as a member of the monarch,
Exactly.
and he was in, I forget if he was in the Royal Navy or the Army or what.
Yeah, he was in some service where,
he was in.
Yeah.
But now he's out and he's talking about it. And so it's kind of a shock to us.
It's a shock because I guess where I'm going with this is he's acting like this is new. And it's not new. Like, it's horrible what things have happened in the generations long ago. I'm going to give you an example. They had a lot of inbreeding going on.
Oh, well.
I guess they wanted to stay royal, so you marry your cousin.
You got to keep it.
But we all know that can have some really terrible outcomes. And they had children, who were very mentally challenged and physically challenged, and they put them in institutions, which happened a lot back then.
But I'm going to assume, like, quietly, shipped away.
No, even better.
Okay.
says in black and white that they're dead.
Jeez. Worse than quietly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So in one section of The Crown, Princess Margaret goes to get therapy. So therapy wasn't forbidden, right? We'll get to that.
Right.
And for her first session, the therapist said, well, through my network, I know about the sisters. And she's like, what sisters? And so she investigates. She says to Queen Elizabeth, I forget their names, but is so-and-so and so-and-so still alive? And Queen Elizabeth was quick to say no, and then quickly got that book. And see, it's right here. So makes me think she knew.
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
obviously her mother knew because it was her mother's brother's children that, were having these issues. So I guess, so fast forward to Harry, okay? I wish he wasn't getting paid. I think if he were doing, these are public service announcements. When you want to get out there and say, I've had a mental health issue, and I'm a public figure, and I just want you to know you're not alone.
Right.
Here's the 1-800 number. You know what I mean? And I guess to your point, like, you said nothing through all these years, and there's plenty of clips where he seems like a happy man before he met Meghan, right?
Well, and I think he actually he had pretty girlfriends. He was kind of living like the prince life. Now he's kind of like the artist formerly known as Prince. And it's sort of like he's got to adopt her issues. And, he's a father and she's pregnant. So I feel like he's almost, and I'm not saying he didn't have mental health issues. I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm just saying, why are we on the cover of People magazine talking about this now?
Exactly.
Where were you? Where were you before?
Right. And also, Harry, you weren't like a homeless veteran living in the back of somebody's car. Like that's the part that's so tone deaf on both of them, I think. It's like, it's been hard. Yeah, it's been hard. I've talked about this on open mic before, and I have no problem talking about it again. When I first got married, I had lived at home. I didn't really plan to live at home till I got married, but I suffered greatly. Like I was just overwhelmed, so anxious, panic attacks. So when people talk about that and they talk about their stories, like I can relate.
Oh yeah, you and I have talked about this. So I know that about you. So then it comes down to like, is he just a man who truly needed support and didn't have any because he was in such an icy growing up situation? So maybe he didn't get it. And is he what's our term that we love to use?
His truth?
No, not his truth. No, not his truth. Is he, Julie, help me. He's not emotionally delayed, but he's got arrested development.
Yes.
Is he just not there because the support wasn't there for him?
So I think, one of the things that's fascinating about listening to Harry is that I think if Harry's interview with Oprah had gone first, the narrative would be a little different.
Yeah,
because
I totally agree.
Right? Because Harry is being honest. This is where Meghan separates herself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so Harry's like, I didn't get the support. And to tell you the truth, I believe him. Like, I don't think,
100%.
They didn't do that.
Yep,
they
100%.
Didn't do that. Back then, it wasn't a regular thing. Now, if somebody loses a parent, they're off to some program tomorrow.
Yep.
It wasn't like that, and it certainly wasn't going to be like that in the Royals, because you grin and bear it, stiff up a lip.
Yep.
Like, that's the whole thing. So I do think that he is looking back now and saying, wow, no wonder I was such a mess.
Right.
I didn't process that, and I had a lot of anger.
Yes.
And when he talks about the sound of paparazzi and how that revs him up.
Yeah.
And it makes me so sad. So the question is, why are you in California? Why are you on the cover of People?
Well, see, and this is where the mystery lies, because he got wrapped up in her, and she's kind of steering the ship here. She sought her sights on him, she got him, and now this is where he's going. So now he's talking about his mental health issues. This is all news to us. We had no idea that he had any of this going on. We thought he was in the Royal Navy. He was in Africa. He was doing his work with his causes.
Like
now suddenly he's
exactly
telling us he was a mess.
right.
We didn't know.
He wasn't forthcoming like that. He did have or was a part of some mental health organization, but it was very under the guise of the duties
Right.
of what, like this is another one of the charitable things I have a lot of interest in, but he didn't elaborate. He did not say,
Right.
oh, I did drugs and alcohol. Why would you say that about yourself?
Well, I'm trying to think of his exact quote right now, because what did he say about drugs and alcohol? He said, I was not encouraged to try drugs and alcohol, but drugs and alcohol were offered to me, and I took drugs and alcohol. That was like a huge statement I thought he made this week.
That is huge.
I mean, that was something like we weren't expecting. I always thought he was like a prince who was partying and everything was great,
Right.
but not that you were in pain and you were encouraged to use drugs and alcohol to
Numb it.
yes.
To numb it.
So I thought that was a really big statement from him this
Because can't you
week.
see it with the decanter? Right? In the castle, like,
I'm
you're a little
picturing
down,
full-
have a whiskey.
It's like a tea party,
Here you
except
go.
it's
You're 14, but you know what? You'll get used to the
let's
taste.
serve it up.
Well, no, but that's the part that's really, really sad is take someone like Princess Margaret, okay? Beautiful girl, fell in love with one of the people that work there, one of the staff members, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And he loved her, beautiful, was married. Not happening. Like, he got divorced, but Queen Elizabeth would not let her marry this guy. Her whole life goes down the wrong track from that moment on. And talk about drinking, like, she's in so much pain.
Yeah.
And she's number two. Nobody cares about her.
Right.
You know?
Right. I mean, she's literally, she's not Queen Elizabeth.
She's not Queen
she's
Elizabeth.
Sister Margaret,
Yeah.
and no one's caring.
And to your point, like, Harry had that same thing where it was the heir and the spare, but it
Yes.
seems like Harry was enjoying not having that pressure.
Right.
Like, you know what? I might be 22 and I'm having some beers with my buddies. Who cares?
Right.
You
No,
know?
he looked like he was living the life.
Yeah, he
and
really
William
did.
was kind of towing the family line.
Totally.
He was, you know what I mean, doing all the right things.
So the thing about the coldness, right, and that didn't change, even though the world is changing. We've got phones that are TV, they're still back in the day with all this nonsense. And when that happens, everybody is insecure. So that's why Princess Diana was such a sensation, because everybody was jealous of her.
Yeah.
Even Queen Elizabeth was jealous of her because they were questioning her parenting versus Diana. Because Diana wouldn't go on tour unless she brought William.
Yeah.
And Queen Elizabeth didn't like that. She felt like she was being questioned.
Yeah.
Anne was jealous because Anne was not as pretty. Sorry.
Well, I can understand that.
Sorry.
Anne. I get you.
I mean, Princess Diana. The thing is that if you were a confident person, like let's say Princess Charles was a confident man, grew up with love, whatever, he would see that star and jump on that bandwagon and just be like, yes, that's my wife, and she's bringing 10 million people to my speech. But because he's so jealous, he's like, this was my tour, and blah, 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 It's
Yes.
like...
But he also loved someone else.
He did.
And the thing is, the heart takes you where the heart takes you.
I agree.
You can have what looks like the most beautiful Princess Diana in front of you every single day, but the heart wants what the heart wants, and that's where you're going to go.
Yeah, and I do respect that in Charles, because he wasn't a womanizer. He just wanted, and they should have let him.
They should have let him marry her. That's
Princess
who he wanted
Margaret
to
should have
marry.
married the divorced staff member.
Right.
We're solving it all now.
If
they
someone could
would
just listen to us.
I mean, I've got it all
We can
mapped
figure
out.
this whole
seriously.
thing out for you people.
Don't worry your brains. Just watch this and take
We're
some
going to
notes.
tell you what to do.
Yeah, just get going. But yeah, everybody's miserable. Everybody's miserable. And so what's fascinating is Harry doesn't seem happy. Like he's sitting there, but
what I want to ask you about. I want to ask you about gaslighting. When we talk about a narcissistic person, and you and I have talked about narcissistic
We love to dive
people.
into that.
We really do, because it is fascinating, and it is truly a disorder. But do you think he's being gaslighted by Meghan? is she saying, like, this is what's happening to me, this is what's happening? And he can't really see the evidence of it, but he's going, she's saying this is what's happening, this is what's happening. So he's going
100%
with that. Okay.
I can't think of any other way this has happened.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think, like we talked last time, like, so, what did you say? I would say sheltered. That was the word you
Yes,
used.
yeah.
So yeah, sure. He definitely, manned up and was in the service and blah 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 blah. But a girl like her, she's just doing hoops around him. Like he can't keep up. She's like, in Canada
100%.
and he's like, in Worcester. Like he has no idea. He's no idea what he's. He has no idea what he's doing. He's like, he can't even put his foot in front of the other. And to your point, last time, can we pause? Like every day,
Simmer
there's something.
down. I mean, it's just a constant.
So the name of the podcast 5-part series is, I had to write it down because I couldn't remember it. I was like, the me. What is it? No, it's the me you can't see, which is ironic because we've seen
This
him
is
all the time.
Harry's podcast
Yes.
with Oprah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 5 parts. And so other stars see all this stuff they thought was going to just hit,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it's murky. It's
Yeah.
murky. People
Yeah.
are, ugh. Lady Gaga is one of them that talks about a terrible time in her life. But again, lady, you could do whatever you want. Have your own charity.
Right.
Get on, do your 1-800. Don't get paid by Apple Plus.
Right.
I feel like if I called Apple Plus and said, hey, here's $2,000, can Harry, take the phone into the bathroom?
Right.
He'd say yes.
Right.
It's like everything has a price now.
Well, and I feel like the Chrissy Teigens of the world, who was a real fan of hers, Chrissy Teigen came running in, and she was going to be a big fan of Meghan's, and she's fallen desperately out of favor right now. So it's very curious to see who in Hollywood is going to stick with these two people.
Yes.
And I wish they were causes people. I wish that was their real deal, that you were really truly causes people, but you're not.
I know, that's exactly
You're
it.
fame people.
Exactly. Like if it were true that Meghan came into his life and got him to go to therapy, by the way, how can he go to therapy and she doesn't get any?
Yeah, it's
come on.
silly. Come on. Now.
But if that were the case and she saved him, and then somehow everybody's opening up and saying, yeah, that really is kind of backwards. Like, why do we even have the monarchy anymore? It's got such a waste of money and time. It could still crumble. I wouldn't give Meghan credit for it, but it still could be something that people go, we can't have these lives living like this anymore. I don't want to see Charlotte go through what these other... I don't want to see Charlotte be a Princess Margaret.
No, desperately not. But we love our pomp and circumstance. We love our, you know what I mean? We
really do.
We really, really love this. So there's a place in the world for this. It's got to maybe modernize itself and its traditions and things like that.
Exactly.
But I do feel like it has a place for us because we love this.
We do love it. And you know what is interesting? I was thinking about this a lot, and it's we didn't have to deal with this because you have sons and I have sons.
Yes.
And if I had a daughter and she wanted to be a princess every day, like I'm a big dreamer. Like I say dream big. Like, but what little girls are really dreaming about is love. They want Charming.
Right.
That's the Cinderella story. Regular girl doing her thing, drops the shoe, right? So that gives every girl that feeling of like, that could be me.
Right.
And so even our weddings, right? They have a Cinderella-y kind of feel to it with the dress and the thing. And so I think that everybody's disappointed in Meghan because you're not a princess anymore or anything.
Yeah, you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right. And like
we want more.
We like the horse, the carriage.
We want it all.
All of that is awesome. And
because we don't have that.
We want
to see it.
Right.
We want to see that.
Right. We enjoy it. We enjoy the fashion. We enjoy all of it. And it's sad that it's not really like you're a princess. I'm a princess.
Well,
I mean,
in my own mind, but that's
you've got
different.
your Prince Charming. I've got.
He's pretty good.
My guy, it's not a castle, but 74 Argyle Street's not bad.
We're making it work.
We're making it work. But it's just like, that's the part that that hit me. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what little girls dream about, is like, not so much the money or the, crystal bowls, or, you know what I mean? It's more the idea of the romance and,
Right,
the
Disney
and the
movie.
dancing. Yes.
I want to come down the stairs and the shoes and get in the glass castle and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, it would be sad if we didn't have that anymore. I guess, maybe Prince Charles will clean it up. I don't see Queen Elizabeth doing anything more of any kind of strong changes.
No.
She didn't have it easy either.
No.
And so she's just a tough cookie, and she's just like, toughen up cupcake. Like, if she had her way, she would say to Harry, are you kidding me? Like, she's rolling her eyes.
But I don't really have a lot of confidence in Prince Charles either. I kind of think, well, it would be interesting to see. So they're doing the 40-year statue of her.
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to see.
You mean 20?
20 years.
Yeah.
Did I say 40 years?
I think so.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see how that
all works
goes down.
Yeah.
And who's in, who's out, who's not coming, who is coming, what's happening there.
That's going to be very telling.
Yeah.
What I've read is that Harry is very upset that Meghan is not included because she's pregnant. So,
but how do you include her, though, at this point?
Like with a Zoom?
You've exited the monarchy. Like, how would you like us to include you? Because I'm confused.
This is exactly
Do you
it.
want a portrait? Do you want what are you saying? How would you like us to do? You've left.
Well, this is it. It's like, like we said at the last podcast, you left, you don't do the work, and you're looking for the money? Like, how does that work?
We're very confused.
Does that work? I'll call some old jobs I've had. Just give it a whirl.
I want him to go because I want him to go with William. I want him to be there for his mom.
Yeah.
So I want him to do that. It would be very, very interesting to see how that shakes down.
My prediction is he will go. There'll be nothing for Meghan. He can try all he wants. And I don't think anybody's going to budge.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, kind of awkward. It's like nobody likes him right now.
Right. Well, yeah.
You're
kind of a man on an island right now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it goes on and on. Maybe we could do a third one after the statue. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a good time.
And scene.
And scene.
Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
Thanks, David.